Hey everybody, welcome to Facebook Live. Trainer Joe here with today's topic. You care too much, so you weigh too much. You care too much, and it affects your weight. In our culture today, what we have is a great deal of entitlement and indulgence when it comes to eating. Our body can receive plenty of calories and nutrients, but there's something in us that says, now wait a minute, I'm still not satisfied, and the feeling we want is going to require more than just those calories. Now some people might just say, Joe, I'm just thankful, love food, I'm thankful for it, I eat, it's not a big deal for me. I was talking with my wife and daughter yesterday. We were going for a walk, and my wife was talking about after she'd had a couple of kids, and she's struggled with her weight for years, and she's been victorious in doing it, but it's always been a battle for her. And she said she was sitting around 200 pounds and staying there, and she said, as I look back, me having that excess weight was always connected to eating to medicate. It was never because I was eating because I needed food. It was for medication. We enjoy that pleasure, but it's not right when that becomes unrestrained. So most people, when it comes to eating, lack an appropriate amount of restraint. How do you know? How do you know if you care too much? Well, let me set something straight here about caring too much. What am I saying you care too much about? You can be very, very thankful, and not care too much. Compare it to a life-saving medication that your doctor puts you on, and you are so thankful. It's saving your life. You take 3 pills a day, and it's like a miracle, and you are so grateful. Well, then why not take 6 pills a day? Well, because the prescription calls for 3 pills a day. You're incredibly thankful, but if you take more than 3, you're not showing that you're more thankful. You're showing that you're abusing it. You're showing that you're addicted now. You now have a problem. So eating more food than we need is no indication of being thankful. It becomes an indication now that we're using and we are abusing. And some of us, it goes maybe a little along the lines, if I can step on some toes here, maybe we're kind of like a foodie. We're more picky than the queen. More picky than the queen. I don't know if she's picky or not, but we need everything just right. When we order at a restaurant, it needs to be just right. Not overcooked, not undercooked, enough salt, not too much salt. We're really concerned about how it tastes, when we get it, how much you get, where'd it come from, what's it smell like. I remember my mother-in-law one time ordered fish at a restaurant, and she asked the waiter, she said, can you take this back? I don't want that. It's too fishy. Who cares? We're like prima donnas when it comes to food. How do you know you care too much? Look at the scale. Now, that doesn't mean that people that are the right weight are exempt. Hey, they got other problems. But it's going to be hard to deny. If we have excess weight, that we don't have an issue here. We do. You weigh too much. Obviously, you've been getting enough to eat. Let's look at the weight scale. What is this telling us? Well, if we look over here, we have extreme or morbid obesity. Okay, that's extreme, that's morbid. It's not good. And then, so some people will start here, and they say, I need to lose weight, and they get excited, they move to obese, and then they get excited, they move to overweight. What's the next category? Next category is normal. All the other categories are not normal. When we eat beyond what we need, not only is it not healthy, but another way to look at it that might help you. It's not just not healthy, it's also not normal. Look at the scale in your doctor's office. There's normal, then there's overweight, then there's obese. There's normal, then there's underweight. It's not normal to be underweight. And that's not to put a finger on anybody or judge anybody. It's to help people realize, if I think this is normal and just acceptable, I'm just going to tolerate it. Do you see the younger people dying of COVID right now? Do you know how often that's somebody that's not overweight? It's so rare. And I really debated whether I would bring that up or not, but who's going to bring it up? You can find it if you Google it. And you don't have to be 100 pounds overweight for this to affect you negatively if you get this. And I read something today, it was that way with other viruses too. A little bit of extra weight and suddenly your risk is so much higher. It's not normal to be anywhere but this category here. It's if you look at how am I operating, how am I doing my life? Well, there's a certain way we're made. There's a certain way we should see ourselves and behave. But we often lose track. Our identity gets blurred, and we begin acting in a way that really is out of character for us. And when we keep eating beyond our physical need, we're going to have problems. But it's the way we've been brought up. It's the way our culture is. It's the way it's trained. The road to being overweight is so wide now. It's so simple. You don't have to try. You can just find yourself saying, well, I'm 50 pounds overweight. I didn't do anything unusual. It doesn't feel like we did anything unusual or weird because it's so easy now. It's just handed to us. It's like drugs. Here's some drugs. Just try one and you like them and you're addicted all of a sudden. It's like, what? Was that any fault of my own? Well, it's your responsibility to figure this thing out. I attempt to help people any way I can. And I remember one time with my own kids, I thought, this might be an opportunity to help them understand something that so many people struggle with. They finished a soccer game. They were just 10, 12 years old. And we had a car full. And we pulled up to the McDonald's drive-thru and they said, may I help you, sir? And I said, yes. And I looked how many kids were in the car because we had some of their friends in there and there were 5. And I said, could I please have 5 hamburgers and 5 waters? And nobody was happy with that order in the car. He was like, I don't want that. I wanted this. I wanted fries. I wanted milkshake. I wanted Arby's. And I said, kids, I know this isn't exactly what you wanted. I said, but you just finished. And I love giving my kids special things and treats and my grandkids. And it's just fun. But I also want them to realize if you're hungry, it doesn't take very much food to take care of that. But if you're trying to satisfy something else other than physical hunger, then back up the truck. And you're going to try over and over and over because we're medicating. We're eating for a reason other than just nourishment. And I don't have a problem with that until it starts negatively affecting us. Some people will say, well, I don't have a problem with food. It reminds me of folks that smoke and say, I could quit any time. If you don't have a problem with food and you're overweight, prove it. Lose the weight. In Romans it says God's kingdom isn't a matter of what you put in your stomach. It's what God does with your life as He sets it right, puts it together, and completes it with joy. We worry too much about our food, that feeling. The hamburger alone ain't going to do it. I need the fry. I need a Coke. I want that feeling. I need a dessert. I need that feeling. I need it at 10 o'clock at night with cheese on it. I need that feeling. We got to get over that. You ain't the queen. And then in Matthew 6 it says, do not worry about your life, what you will eat and drink. You care too much, so you weigh too much. If you need help figuring that out, reach out to me with a message, and I'll help you with it. Trainer Joe, helping you train your brain and transform your body.